Okay, I promised to get back to you on the vegetable garden. And it's a little further along in its progress. And so maybe this will begin to make sense to you now. So what we're going to have is irrigation pipe that starts right down there. And a manifold with 4 lines coming off of it. And these are drip lines. What we have is a spacing of every 18 inches there is a dripper in these drip lines. And so what I've done is space my planting holes every 18 inches to match up with those. Corn and beans and corn on these first 3 rows here. And this 4th row, you'll notice the holes are a little further apart. I'm going to have, and a little bigger, I'm going to have tomatoes. There's 4 holes for tomatoes and 4 holes for cucumbers. And then about 2/3 of the way down, it converts to the smaller holes closer together. So we'll finish that up with a small row of corn down there. And that's what we're going to do. So the drip lines will be going under the plastic tomorrow. They won't be over the plastic. So you don't have to worry about the drips of water actually making it through the holes. I really anticipate this is going to eliminate about 98% of the weeding. And I do spend quite a bit of time on hands and knees weeding during the summer. And I'm just tired of doing it. It's got a hose fitting on there. It's made to disconnect from the manifold. So they'll all come off and roll up. And the manifold is about 9 feet long. So that'll just store up in the loft of the barn real easy. And then we'll just drag it all out in the spring after it's planted, and or as we're planting, and set it all up again. Let me show you this, how this drip line works. There's a hole, and so about every 18 inches there's a little hole like that. It's not just a hole in the tube. There is actually a dripper on the inside of the tube. That's how it's made. Pretty cool. And they work really nice. I've tried it out so far. It's really good. So I'm looking forward to getting this in use. This is our one of our 2 multi-graft apple trees. There's 4 or 5 varieties on there. And I was delighted this week to find, I had grafted here, to find this graft popped. It only took 3 months after grafting, and this one might go too. The buds are swelling. Speaking of apple grafts, we still have 3 growing on this multi-graft tree. So we got 1, 2, wherever you see the black tape, 3. And they're not looking extremely, they actually look pretty half decent, as good as anything else on the tree. We got the irrigation pipes underneath the plastic this morning, and yeah, ready to go. We got the drip system ties in there, and I now have the final electric valve rigged up. Well, it's supposed to be 89 or 90 degrees today. So I got up early. I decided yesterday it was pretty warm. And the middle of a hot day is not a great day to work on black plastic. So I decided to get up early this morning and do my seeding, which, given the layout that was already put in place, took about 20 minutes is all. Just went around and poked seeds in all the holes. So far I am liking this a lot. And I'm hoping that works out in terms of how things will grow and produce just as well. I hope. Cross my fingers. We'll see. All right, we got the first run going on our drip system here. After the seeds are in the ground, we'll get those seeds good and watered. But that's what it looks like. That's how it works. They're just dripping away. Well, we're up near the top of the cherry tree, and it might be the beginning of harvest time. Let's check it out. Cherry production is one of the best years we've seen. And believe it or not, the cherry tree itself, the trunk of the tree doesn't look all that healthy, but boy, the production is good. And let's just see if we can say the harvest is good too, because a lot can happen between here and there, and it all has to do with creatures with wings. I'm equipped today with an official harvest bucket. Well, we're about 5 days out from planting, and we're beginning to see some germination and emergence from these holes. Not all of them yet, but things are popping. Likewise with the corn. See a little bit of green happening in, should we call them corn silos? I don't know. Corn holes. A new game of cornhole. That's what it is. And finally got tomatoes in yesterday. I'd been waiting on tomatoes because we had a little bit of a heat spell, and I hate to put tomato starts out when if it's going to shock them with heat right away. So, and this year we're going to try some deer proofing, hopefully. I've also replaced the weeper hose that I used to have on the raspberries there. It was just the black round weeper hose you can buy in the garden center at the most hardware stores. I wasn't entirely happy with how it was doing, and I bought gobs and gobs of this stuff from that farmer. The drip hose that has the drippers inside the hose every 18 inches. So I brought that over along the fence line back here, and I sent a line up this way because this part of the fence line will no longer get overhead water from the vegetable garden, which it used to get. So it won't get watered at all without something. So I sent some of it up that way, and back this way I'm getting these. I actually have a couple of grapes on this fence line, and they have a lot of other competition, as you can see. But yeah, that comes along here, goes into the ground, ties into the blackberries, and then it ties into the main line over on the other end of the blackberry row. But I also split off from here and ran a new line out behind Camp A, where we want to start putting a row of trees back here. And I just planted a volunteer maple tree, dug it up from the raspberry row. It was growing in there. Well, we don't want maple trees in the raspberries, and so I just planted that. But speaking of blackberries, let's take a look at that. These are, this first batch here is Marionberries, and they're coming on strong. Now Marionberries they do have thorny canes, little spiky thorns, but nice and sharp. And then you can tell a little bit difference in the color of the leaf when we shift over to the Triple Crown blackberries. And look at all those blossoms coming on there. So hopefully they'll do well this year. One of the reasons I wanted to replace the drip line down there is last year, right in the middle of fruiting season, the weeper hose that I had in here failed, and I didn't know it for probably a week or two. And the hot weather, these berries need a lot of water during the hot weather, and especially during fruiting season, a lot of water during fruiting. And so our fruit kind of came on strong and then just fizzled out real quick, and that was a big disappointment. So hopefully this year we'll get the water going full season and have a nice full season of Triple Crown blackberries. The grapes, poor old grapes, they are still trying to recover from the extra pruning they got this spring. Springtime is the one time I don't prune them. Not supposed to prune them with the new growth on, but they got pruned anyway by our four-legged pruners that you see on the critter cam frequently. And you say, oh, isn't that cute? Bambi. Oh, Well, I'll tell you what. This poor guy here, Bambi decimated this. It's just starting to try to recover from that. And I don't think that'll fruit this year. We have a little bit of fruit that has started, but not like it should be at this time. And I don't think the fruit gets, the leaves will get a second chance, but the fruit will not. So I'm anticipating a really small crop this year. And so you say, Larry, get off your duff, because we know you're not doing anything but sitting on the deck all day, and get this fence replaced. We got fence posts up here. Not that a mere 4 or 5 foot fence is going to hold the deer out, but at least it won't be a kind of like an engraved written invitation to come in. So at least if they have to hop over, put a little bit of effort into it, maybe they'll second guess whether they want to go or not. So, well, so far we're still staying ahead of the birds. Say that quietly, knock on wood. And let's grab this one. Well, wish I could share that with you. You know, for you people in the Corvallis area, no excuse. Get your butts over here and help us take care of these things. For Father's Day, I got treated to a wonderful evening of speakers at the Air Museum in McMinnville. And during that time, the SR-71 Blackbird was the star of the show. What are you surveilling the surveillance system?
I am, yes.
All right.
Surveillance and reconnaissance.
Ready to get in for a flight?
Oh, yeah.
We're on a steam train from Lebanon to Sweet Home. So we're just leaving Lebanon.
We're in the bar car.
Yeah, it's the only place there's room for some reason. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out why about that later.
Yeah.
It's June 14th and we're walking in the woods. And there's, this is some interesting stuff over here. Have you seen the likes of that before? Seems to like to grow in shade and these kind of dry, spindly needles, but isn't that interesting? And beyond that, we have foxglove in bloom. Real pretty. I'm back up the ladder, and are you feeling like life is just not a bowl of cherries? Well, if that's how you're feeling, come on out. Spend a little time in the orchard with me. And we might argue otherwise. These are Rainier. I had to look that up. And I thought they were Royal Anne cherries. They are not. This is actually a multi-graft cherry tree. And I do see 2 varieties this year. And we looked it up, and the only one Dad listed the 4 varieties, and I looked all 4 up, and the only one that are this color are Rainier. Started in 1952 at Washington State University. Yummy. And we do have a more traditional dark red cherry. I'm not sure which one that is. Of the other 3 varieties Dad listed for this tree, all of them, when I look them up, are that color. So not exactly a very healthy limb anymore. Maybe these two will do well and produce in the future. I see we got a couple here coming off that one. This is by far the best year for cherries I can remember. They're doing very well, and I don't know why. This poor old tree looks kind of sick to me. You can see all the dead wood that got cut out. We are continuing to pick cherries. There's a 2-gallon bucket and a 1-gallon bucket. And Terry picked a big one like that the other day, and I picked a little one like that the other day. So, boy, this is really the most cherries we've ever had. So, and they are nice. They are good. Already got some going in the freezer. Here's an update on the garden, the plastic garden. We got seeds that are 2 weeks old today. And so we got beans over there in the white PVC fencing. Corn's up about 4 or 5 inches. And the cucumbers are kind of sitting there waiting for a little warmer weather. We have had some mild, very mild weather in June, which doesn't hurt my feelings. I like mild.
Play tug.
I have no idea what those floating eyeballs are. What's causing that? Weird.